Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Native Echo Podcast, where we make English simple and enjoyable. I'm Harper. Hello to all of our wonderful listeners, wherever you are in the world right now. So, today, I want to tell you a story, a real story, something that actually happened to me. And honestly, every time I remember it, I feel a little embarrassed. But now, years later, I can also laugh about it. So I thought, why not share it with you? Maybe you will laugh too. And maybe, just maybe, you will learn something useful from my little disaster. The story is about the day I got completely lost at the airport in London. And when I say lost, I mean really lost. Not, oh, I took a wrong turn lost. I mean, how did I end up here and where is everybody lost? Me, a grown adult, wandering around a huge airport like a confused child who lost their parents in a shopping mall. So let me take you back to that morning. Get comfortable, maybe grab a cup of tea or coffee, and let's go on this little journey together. It was very early in the morning. My flight landed in London at 6 o'clock. The sky outside was still dark, that deep blue gray color you see just before sunrise. And I was exhausted, completely exhausted. I did not sleep on the plane, not even for a single minute. You know the reason? The baby. There was a baby sitting 2 rows behind me, and this baby had a very strong opinion about flying, a very loud opinion, all night long. So by the time we landed, my brain was in a fog. Let me explain that word because I love it. When I say my brain was in a fog, I mean I could not think clearly. Imagine a thick morning fog outside, that gray cloud that covers everything so you cannot see the road ahead. That is exactly how my mind felt. Slow, cloudy, and confused. Everything felt like a strange dream. This detail matters for the story, so please keep it in your mind. So I walked off the plane, dragging my feet like a sleepy zombie. And then I stepped into the main airport. And oh my goodness, London Heathrow is enormous. It is like a small city inside a building. There were people absolutely everywhere. People rushing past me, people pulling heavy suitcases with those little wheels that go rah, 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 rah across the floor, people speaking in a dozen different languages all at once. Bright lights above, signs on every wall, arrows pointing in every direction. It was overwhelming. Overwhelming. That is a good word for you today. When something is overwhelming, it means it is too much for your brain to handle. Too many things happening at the same time. Too much information. Too fast. That busy airport at 6 in the morning with my foggy, tired brain, absolutely overwhelming. And me? I just stood there in the middle of it all, completely frozen. Like a rock sitting in the middle of a fast river with people flowing all around me. I probably looked ridiculous, just a tired woman standing still with a confused look in her face. I tried to read the signs. I really did. But the signs did not help me. There were too many of them. One sign said baggage reclaim. Another said exit. Another said flight connections. Another said toilets. Another said ground transportation. And my tired brain looked at all these words and thought, what does any of this mean? Where is my bag? Where's the door? Where am I supposed to go? I had absolutely no idea. Zero. None. So I did what almost every tired, jet-lagged person does in that moment. I made a decision based on nothing. I picked a random direction and I just started walking. No plan, no map, no logic. I just walked and hoped that somehow, magically, I would end up in the right place. Spoiler alert, that was a terrible idea. A truly terrible idea. I walked for about 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. And slowly, very slowly, a horrible realization started to grow in my mind. I was going the wrong way. Not a little bit wrong, completely, hopelessly wrong. How did I finally figure this out? Well, the crowd disappeared. One moment there were hundreds of people around me, and the next moment, silence. The big, busy, noisy area was gone. And now I was standing in a long, empty, quiet hallway. Just me. Just white walls, a gray floor, and the sound of my own shoes going click, click, click. It was the kind of silence that makes you feel very small and very alone. And that is exactly when the panic arrived. Panic. Let me define this one for you. Panic is a sudden, strong feeling of fear. When you panic, your heart starts beating very fast. Your hands might feel cold and shaky. And the worst part, you cannot think clearly at all. So there I was, alone in an empty hallway, and my heart started going boom, boom, boom. I thought, oh no, where am I? How did I get here? And more importantly, how do I get back? I turned around and started walking back the way I came. But here is the problem with big airports. Everything looks exactly the same. The same white walls, the same gray floor, the same doors, the same little signs. I reached a point where the hallway split into two directions, and I completely froze again. Left or right? I genuinely had no idea. I could not remember. My foggy brain had given up on me. I was well and truly lost. Now, let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about it. Have you ever felt this way? Lost in a huge, unfamiliar place? Maybe a giant airport, a confusing train station, or a big city where all the streets look the same? That awful feeling when everything looks identical and you have no idea which way to turn? If this has happened to you, please tell me in the comments below. I would genuinely love to hear about it. Just write me one or two sentences. Where were you? How did you feel? I read every single comment, and it makes me happy to know I am not the only one who gets lost. Okay, now back to my little adventure. So there I was, lost, tired, slightly panicking, and standing in an empty hallway feeling sorry for myself. And then, finally, my brain remembered something important, something my grandmother used to tell me. She always said, when you are lost, you do not have to be a hero. You do not have to solve everything alone. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply ask for help. Ask for help. 3 small words. Such a simple idea. But you know what? Sometimes it is surprisingly hard to do, especially in a foreign language, right? Back then, my English was okay. Not perfect, but okay. And I was nervous. All these worries started swirling in my head. What if I say something wrong? What if they do not understand my accent? What if I sound silly and they laugh at me? What if I ask and then I do not understand their answer? But honestly, I had no choice. I could not stay in that hallway forever. So I took a deep breath, I stood up straight, and I decided to be brave. I went to look for another human being to rescue me. I walked back toward the busier area, and finally, I spotted someone. A woman in a uniform. She clearly worked at the airport. She was holding a little device and checking something, and she had a kind, friendly face. So I gathered all my courage, walked up to her slowly, and said in my nervous, shaky voice, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I think I'm lost. Could you help me, please?" And you know what happened? She looked up and she gave me the warmest, kindest smile. And she said, "Of course, love. No worries at all. Where do you need to go?" Oh, the relief. The pure, sweet relief. Let me tell you about this beautiful word. Relief is that wonderful feeling you get when a worry or a problem suddenly disappears. When something you were scared about turns out to be totally fine. When a heavy weight lifts off your shoulders. That is relief. And when that woman smiled at me, I felt it wash over my whole body. My shoulders dropped down and relaxed. My heartbeat slowed to normal. Suddenly, the world was not so scary anymore. So I explained my situation. I said, I need to find my baggage and then I need to find the exit, but I think I walked the wrong way. And she nodded kindly and said, Ah, yes, you've gone a bit too far. Don't worry, it happens all the time. Just go back down this way, turn right at the end, and then follow the purple signs for baggage reclaim. It's very easy from there, I promise. Go back, turn right, follow the purple signs. 3 simple instructions. And suddenly, I was not lost anymore. Just like that. It was almost magical how quickly everything changed. I thanked her about 100 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. She probably thought I was a bit strange, this overly grateful, tired woman. But I honestly did not care. I was just so incredibly happy and relieved. So I followed her directions exactly. I went back down the hallway. I turned right at the end. And there they were, the purple signs, just like she promised. I followed them like they were treasure map clues. And within just a few minutes, I arrived at the baggage area. And there, going round and round on the conveyor belt, was my suitcase. My old, slightly ugly, absolutely wonderful suitcase. I swear I have never been so happy to see a piece of luggage in my entire life. I almost wanted to hug it. I grabbed my bag, I marched confidently to the exit, and I stepped outside into the cold, fresh London morning air, and I took a deep breath. I had made it. I survived. I was not lost anymore. I felt like I had won a small, silly, personal victory. Now, here is why I am telling you this whole story. It is not just because it is a slightly funny memory. There is a real lesson hidden inside it. And the lesson is simple but powerful. When you are lost, ask for help. When you do not understand something, ask for help. When you feel scared or confused in a new place, ask for help. You do not need perfect English to do this. You do not need perfect grammar or a perfect accent. You just need a few simple, honest words. Excuse me, I'm lost. Can you help me? That is genuinely enough. I promise you, it is enough. Because here is a truth I have learned over many years of traveling. Most people are kind. Most people genuinely want to help you. That woman at the airport did not laugh at me. She did not roll her eyes or think I was stupid. She just smiled and helped me. Because that is what most people do when you ask them nicely. Kindness is much more common than we think, especially when we are brave enough to ask for it. So please, my friends, do not be afraid to speak up. Do not be afraid to make a small mistake. A little error in your grammar is not the end of the world. Getting lost is not a disaster. Feeling nervous is completely normal and human. The important thing, the only thing that really matters, is that you try, that you open your mouth and you ask. Okay, now let us do a quick recap of today's story. I want to repeat the important words we learned, because repeating words is one of the best ways to remember them. This is your little vocabulary review. Are you ready? Here we go. Number 1, in a fog. This means unable to think clearly, usually because you are very tired or confused. Example sentence. After the long flight, my brain was in a fog and I could not remember anything. Number 2, overwhelming. This means too much to handle, too many things happening at once. Example sentence. The busy airport was overwhelming for my tired mind. Number 3, panic. This is a sudden, strong feeling of fear where your heart races and you cannot think clearly. Example sentence. When I realized I was lost, I started to panic. Number 4, relief. This is the good, light feeling you get when a worry or a problem finally goes away. Example sentence. I felt a huge wave of relief when the kind woman offered to help me. Number 5, ask for help. This simply means to request assistance from another person. Example sentence. Do not be shy. If you are lost, just ask for help. Wonderful! You did it! You learned 5 new expressions today, and you listened to a whole story in English. That is real progress. Be proud of yourself. Try to use these words this week if you get the chance. Maybe write your own sentence with one of them in the comments. And remember my silly little story. If I can get completely lost in one of the biggest airports in the world, panic in an empty hallway, and still find my way in the end, then you can absolutely handle whatever challenge is in front of you. You just need to stay calm, take a deep breath, and remember that it is always okay to ask for help. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. It really means a lot. If you enjoyed this story and found it helpful, please subscribe to Native Echo Podcast and give this episode a like. It truly helps me continue making these episodes for you. And please, tell me in the comments, have you ever been lost in a big place? What happened? I would absolutely love to read your stories. Keep listening, keep practicing, and always remember, every single day, your English is getting a little bit better, even when you do not notice it. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Bye-bye.